If you feel you're currently stuck in business, this video is for you because I want to tell you the exact reason why most entrepreneurs fail. It has nothing to do with their IQ, their talent, not even their work ethic. It is something deeper, more profound that very few people ever realize, which is why most entrepreneurs end up failing. And the official reasons for them failing is that, they get out-competed, they ran out of cash, they had wrong product market fit, the team is not good enough. All of those reasons are really excuses. They're not really the root cause of them quitting. The root cause is that they end up giving up on what needs to be done to solve those issues. So in other words, their businesses implode from the inside out. Their mind gives in before their business gives in. And this is a realization that I had many years ago when I was with my first business and I was going through a very rough time to the point that I had $711 in my bank account and had a few $1,000s in salaries due in about 10 days. And I remember I went to a mentor of mine and I told him, dude, I've literally tried it all. The problem we were having is that the lead generation source that we had been using to get clients had dried up. Algorithm had changed and we were not able to adapt. We had 2 other lead generation initiatives in motion, but they were not yet giving us the fruits that we expected, right? Cold email was not working, Facebook ad was not working, and the previous lead gen, which in that moment was Twitter, stopped working. So I was basically running out of cash and I was working all day, every day on the business. So I went to see my mentor and he listened to me intently. He told me, dude, your business is not failing. Your mind is. He made me realize that I was constantly procrastinating on things because I didn't know how to do them. I was overwhelmed by the sheer amount of stuff that I had to do. My notional management was whacked. I was overreacting all day. And as a result, I was making bad decisions that further compromised my ability to scale the business. As soon as he made me realize that mastering my mind would be the number one tool in my success, that is what I set out to do. And I want to prove it to you with a little analogy. So imagine that you are in LA and you want to get to New York City. And you know that the path is very straightforward. Something that looks like this. And this is the road I-80, right? You put that into your car, and the GPS will automatically guide you to your destination. Every time that you encounter an obstacle, that you have to stop at a red light, you have to take a little detour, the GPS will automatically recalculate the route to give you the best path to get to New York quickly. That GPS is a strong mind. When you have a strong mind, you have a great GPS. Because every time you're hit with an obstacle, instead of suffering, you get curious and you understand how can you best leverage that situation in order to get better. But what most people go through is quite the opposite. So let's assume it's going to map out the prototypical growth for a digital business. Let's assume that you are at 10K a month, right? Let's assume that you are at 10K a month and you want to get to 100K a month. What gurus will tell you that is just about consistently moving in the right direction, which is partially true. The problem with this approach, just doing the things, is that the path is never linear. The path looks something like this. And at every step, we are hit with obstacles. We are hit with decisions. We are hit with course corrections that over time shape our path. And if you have a weak mind, every time you're hit with one of these, this creates two things: doubts and distractions. How many times have you encountered a problem in your business, something that was supposed to not be there, and you have either doubted your ability to get it done or get distracted and surf YouTube for hours on end? If you are the average entrepreneur who has never trained a performance, you most likely fall for this quite often. The problem with doubts and distractions, and listen, distractions, the 70% of the average day of a knowledge worker is wasted in distractions, according to Gallo. And about 85% of people suffer from self-doubt. So this is happening to pretty much everyone, specifically those that haven't trained their minds. And the problem with this is that this generates procrastination. You start procrastinating on the things you know you need to do. And this happens at 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, because I've heard one-on-one more than 300 people at this point, and it's always the same pattern. If you procrastinate a lot, overwhelm kicks in every time because you're not doing the things you know you need to do, so these things keep piling up. Eventually, you end up making bad decisions because you haven't thoroughly thought the consequences of each choice. Bad decisions lead to problems, which, pile up quite quickly, which leads to procrastination on the thing that needs to be done. This is the cycle of doom that I was held by when I went to see my mentor. I was procrastinating on the changes I know I needed to do, so that made me overwhelmed. I messed up a couple of key decisions. That created a huge problem. Cash was running out. I had to pay my people, and I couldn't. And everything started because I got doubtful and distracted when doing new things, because that is the problem. Every time you're hit with an obstacle, you are hit with uncertainty, which is one of the biggest performance killers, because the human mind hates uncertainty. So typically, when you're not good at dealing with uncertainty, you will doubt yourself, you will get distracted. So the goal is to have a mind that automatically recalculates the route like a great GPS so that you can move faster than anyone else. This is why any performers work, and anyone can learn this. Your fastest time in which we have taken a guy from 0 K-month to 100 K-month was 7 months because he was crazy good at sales and marketing. But on average, it takes about 15 to 16 months. In any case, what makes a difference is not how much marketing or sales you know. If you have studied marketing or sales for 3 months, you're already good enough to get to 100 K-month. The difference is your capacity, your ability to consistently outperform your past self. So having a strong mind is the number one predictor of success, especially at the highest level. At the highest level, everybody's talented, works hard, and is crazy smart. The difference is having a mind that works for you, that every time you're hit with a problem, you automatically tell yourself, how can I figure it out? Without doubting your capacity to figure it out, without getting distracted when trying to figure it out. But this is what elite performers do. What adult performers do, those that haven't yet trained your minds, is I'm just not good enough. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. That negative self-talk that affects a lot of fantastically brilliant entrepreneurs, that if unhinged, leads to them quitting their business. It's never really that they ran out of cash. And I can say that because I was technically bankrupt for like 10 days, right? Is that you don't make the right decisions to eventually figure the problem out, right? So the key insight here is that your business is not failing or your business is not stuck. Your mind is not strong enough to deal with this. So what do? Well, glad you asked. You train your mind, right? And training your mind is, we have tons of protocols on how to consistently train your mind. But I want to give you 3 mindset shifts right? That you can implement today that is going to make a journey so much easier, right? Every time you encounter an obstacle, I want to consistently apply this mindset filters. I want to think the situation through these 3 specific lenses. And this is going to automatically help you move forward much faster. But before I share those, let me tell you, the biggest takeaway that I want you to get from this video, right? It's not the mindset lens, it's a deeper idea, right? Pain is unavoidable in life if you want to grow, right? Growth equals pain every time. That's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you had a weak mind, because a weak mind turns pain into suffer. You cannot avoid pain, but you can most certainly avoid suffering. Suffering is mismanaged pain. What does a strong mind do? Strong mind is the opposite. Strong mind assigns meaning to pain. This is very profound, great deep, but I need you to understand this in order to see how we can transform pain into a catalyst for growth. If every time you're hit with an obstacle, that implies emotional resistance, right? Something is not working, you run a paid ads campaign and it bombs, you send an email to your list and nobody purchased, you may about hire whatever it is that is going on in your life, in your business, that is keeping you stuck, that moment is painful. Nobody wants to go through that. But if your mind is not strong enough, you're going to suffer. You're going to start having negative self-talk. You're going to have doubts about your ability to deal with it. You may have entertaining, crazy narratives about why you're not cut off of this, and people who started after you did are having now better results, which is totally the wrong way of seeing it. Because every goal is just one system or one transformation away. The system is yours to create, and the transformation is to build a strong mind. If every time you keep an obstacle, you say, okay, you know what? How can I learn from this? What is this telling me? If I'm running a paid ads campaign, if it's not working, what does that tell me? Well, maybe I messed up on the ads level. Maybe I messed up on the funnel level. Maybe I messed up on the sequences level. Whatever the level, the KPIs tell you. If you send an email to your list and nobody purchases, it's because maybe the list is not primed for buying. Or maybe your email is just weak. Whatever it is, you get a meaning out of the pain. And you transform your understanding of the situation. So over time, and this is very important, you create what I call an infinite comfort zone, right? This is comfort zone, right? Weak mind has a very small comfort zone. Anything outside of the comfort zone creates pain, and mismanaged pain turns into suffering. But when you train your performance, when you strengthen your mind, over time, you are able to deal with things, bigger and bigger things, because the game doesn't get easier. You have to get better. What does that mean? It means that you expand your comfort zone and you learn through experience or direct training how to deal with this. So over time, what used to keep you awake at night now is just normal business. And the limits of your stress management are really the limits of your business. This is why I found Selfmastered, because I truly believe this is the killer app for every single entrepreneur. It's not how much marketing or sales you know, it's how good you are dealing with the shit that running a business entails, right? Because things are not going to go the way you want them to go, pretty much never, especially the first try. And that's a good thing, because learning how to deal with it is your key differentiator, is the thing that is going to make you successful. It's not how good you are running paid ads or managing your team or hiring whatever. It's consistently doing those things with full focus, clarity, and discipline for years on end until you achieve your goals. So what are the 3 mindset shifts that I believe can give you a lot of clarity. These are universally applicable, are literally used by entrepreneurs and athletes alike, and it's truly going to give you a lot of results in essence. Change number one is stop chasing success and start chasing mastery. If you're chasing success, you will never get there. You'll be fixated on the outcome. You're going to feel miserable until you get the outcome that you set out to achieve, whatever success is for you, but you'll never get there. Why? Because what possibilitates the outcome is consistently doing the right things for long enough to deserve those results, which is mastery, right? Picasso did not set out to become the best painter in the world's history. He just created 45,000 pieces of work, which is about 10 times more than the second most prolific. If you do 10 times more of pretty much every art form that was in vogue 100 years ago, you are a master. If you listen to Federer or Nadal or Djokovic or any elite tennis player, it's always the same talk. You do not obsess over winning a tennis championship. You obsess for mastering every single type of the drive and the smash or whatever in tennis. If you are the number one at your sport, outcomes take care of themselves. This is very important. So every time you're hit with an obstacle, as I said before, imagine that you run an email campaign and it bombs. Well, instead of obsessing because you didn't get the sales that you were counting on, you ask yourself, where is the deficiency? Where is the thing that I did not do in order to get the results? Was it a planning problem? Is it an expectation problem? Is it a skill problem? We don't know. But acknowledging that mastery comes before success is literally what possibilitates you the ability to eventually win. Second thing is, and this is a bit deeper, is from resistance to curiosity. Every time you are hit or triggered by something, that's because there's some subconscious wound that is directing that resistance. For example, in the case of the email campaign, if the email campaign bombs and you feel like shit, it's because there's one or a few underlying subconscious mental processes that collide with that event. Probably let's say that you started your business in order to avoid having a 9-to-5. Well, there's subconscious fear of getting back to that 9-to-5, subconscious fear of failing at the thing that you committed on doing, or subconscious resistance to what other people will say about you if you don't figure out the things that you set out to achieve. There's all sorts of ways in which you can have emotional resistance that curtails your ability to perform in business. And as I always say, the highest performer always wins. So what is the shift? Every time you're hit by an obstacle and you are emotionally aroused or triggered, you say, you know what? What's going on here? Why am I feeling like shit? Why am I feeling like a failure? Why do I have this negative self-talk? Why do I keep having these crazy thoughts with myself that are literally useless and are driving me nuts? And that is how you find what I call the emotional wounds. The things, the mental wounds, emotional wounds that are creating that reaction. Remember that the less triggered always wins. It's another way of saying the highest performer always wins. So it's all about being curious about the things that create emotional resistance to you. Because the more you let them go, the more you cognitively reframe them. We won't get very deep into how you do this, but the more curious you are and the less they affect you, the higher your performance. So over time, you have no chance but to consistently move faster than anyone else. And then number 3 is transitioning from reactiveness to proactiveness. Or, in general terms, from winging it to systems. I always tell the same thing to my clients. My job is to turn them into the Michael Jordan of their industry. How do you consistently become the best guy in your industry? Training on your skills, training on your character, training on your business. Everything and anything that affects your business can be systematized and internalized through systems, right? Systems for learning, systems for execution, systems for planning, systems for everything. And this is what I mean by going from reactiveness to proactiveness, from winging it like most people do to actually designing the systems that deliver the outcome you actually want. This is how you can scale to 100K a month working 5 hours a day. It's not some sort of magic. It's that you consistently find the best way to get there. So you naturally engineer the outcome you want. And this is, again, this is available to anybody who actually learns how to do this. And imagine if there was a company that for 7 years have been helping folks like you do just that. Book a call below if you want our help. But in essence, if every time you are hit with doubts, let's say, if a guy that is on training performance and wants to get to 100K a month, we'll probably go like this, right? Because there's all sorts of things that person doesn't know, and he's reacting, consistently reacting to the environment, doing 2 steps forwards and 3 steps back until he finally gets there. This is how most people live their entrepreneurial life, and this honestly kind of sucks. Nobody wants this, right? What is the better alternative? The better alternative is to learn how to design your life, how to design your path. I'm not saying that this is going to be your path, because this is impossible. There's too much uncertainty in business, right? I won't bullshit you. But you can have a much smoother kind of trajectory, and this is how you can get in 7 months to 100K a month, like our training colleagues did, and most people never really get there. Not only your systems allow you to get there faster, but also your training allows you to learn much quicker. So over time, you're able to move exponentially faster. So going from LA to New York, or from 10K a month to 100K a month, takes a few months instead of many years or never, right? So I hope this makes sense. The reason why you don't have the success you want is because either you are not focused on mastering every single tiny bit of the path there. You are not curious to learn about what are the things that are creating emotional resistance that keep creating those doubts and those distractions. And you're not being proactive enough when systematically designing your path. If you do these 3 things, your life is going to be exponentially easier. How do I know? Because we've done it with more than 300 guys one-on-one. So it's not about how much marketing you know. It's not about how much sales you know. You're never one funnel away, but you're most certainly one cleverly designed system and a transformation away from getting the outcome you want. See you in the next video.